Dan, all yours.
Thank you, Madam General Evaluator, and Sarah, thank you for giving that speech today. For someone who I've never met and someone who I've met over Zoom, I've gotten to know you pretty well through your speeches, your wit and your wisdom, and most importantly, the positive attitude that you provided for us throughout the speeches that you've given us. So for that, we show a lot of appreciation to you for what you have given to us as individuals and the club. There are a few things I'd like to talk about on your speech from a general perspective, and I have a suggestion or recommendation for you as you continue your progress through as a public speaker. But first, I'll start off with some of the things that I did like about your speech. Of course, you fit the word of the day in. That was fantastic. You mentioned some of the things that Toastmasters has done for you and why you wanted to join Toastmasters. You mentioned about just something very minute, like any speaking role in Toastmasters has become useful to you. You never know when you're going to be asked to speak, and it's always good to have something prepared at the tip of your tongue, and that's what Table Topics is about, right? You shared with us your faith prayer that you see every morning. That is something that not only shows us a little bit about what's inside of you and you opening up to us, but it also teaches us something about the world and how we can learn to cope with it. I really liked the dichotomy, if you will, that you presented between faith and control and how we can do our best to manage those two things that sometimes seem to conflict. Another great thing you did too is you brought in Mila's story into your speech about how COVID was turning the world upside down and Mila was worrying about her cat. That was a great way to incorporate something from earlier in the meeting into your speech. Something I would like to emphasize for future speeches, and this is something that I think we all can learn from, is delivering a message and setting up the structure of your speech to deliver that message. One of the things when I talk to, I deal with a lot of executives, and interestingly enough, many of them don't know how to put together a PowerPoint. And in this PowerPoint, I sometimes have to tell these people, what is the message you want to get across? What do you want to say in this one particular slide or with this particular speech? And if they can't answer that, then we need to first figure out what that message is. And that's what I would recommend for this speech, is understand what your message is. What your speech today, Sarah, was. It seemed to me like a story that showed growth and a path that you took, but it also lent to a little bit of a 5 to 7 minute table topic speech, which, sometimes that's fine. It certainly entertained us, but I struggled a little bit with what the message was that you were trying to deliver, and the structure of your speech could help with that. Have an introduction about what you might be telling us, give us some points along the way, and then conclude with that. And you got us to that point too a little bit, but the overall conclusion that I got from your speech was that you did follow the path, and now it's time for you to move on. And of course, seasons change, and here we are with turning a new leaf. Overall, though, you did a great job with this speech. You closed with a quote from David Wyatt, who we've heard about before from you. And I have to tell you one thing, Sarah. As I mentioned at the beginning of this, you've provided us with a very profound impact of how to be positive, how to think clearly, and use wisdom in the world to propel our lives. Thank you, Sarah Martin.